The other thing you can say you gave up for Lent is you gave up your pastor this week. Patrick is on his way home from the Dominican Republic. They will be home later this evening. So we'll keep them in our thoughts today as they travel. So far we gave up screens last week. We gave up the worship band 1 week. We gave up tables 1 week. So this week we are without sound. The verse we're using for Lent is Philippians 4:8. Finally, dear brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if there is virtue in anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. Growing up, I went to church right downtown Noblesville. The building looks like a church right down to the bell and steeple. We even had pews and hymnals. So when Patrick gave me today's word, which is pure, my thoughts went back to that building where I spent my younger years, when life was innocent and pure. One of the first things that comes to mind is the painting that was behind the pulpit and baptismal. I'm going to have, oh, it's already up there. All right, the guys got it for me. Now this picture is not exactly the same as I remembered it in my mind. In my mind, Jesus was holding a lamb, but was instead surrounded by children. But as you can see, those are some furry children. So the picture in my mind works a little bit better for where I'm taking this message. While their little white lambs are pure, I feel like the heart, the mind, and the soul of a child is also pure. Matthew 18:1 through 5 tells us, about the same time, the disciples came to Jesus asking, who gets the highest rank in God's kingdom? For an answer, Jesus called over a child, whom he stood in the middle of the room and said, I am telling you once and for all, that unless you return to square one and start over like children, you are not even going to get a look at the kingdom, let alone get in. Whoever becomes simple and elemental again, like this child, will rank high in God's kingdom. What's more, when you receive the childlike on my account, it is the same as receiving me. I love that version, and that's from the Message, where it translates to simple and elemental like a child. I love when our Godly Play teachers will come down, and sometimes they'll share with us, the parents that are standing around, or the adults. I know that a couple of them have shared in service before. But they do a thing at the end they do their story time, and at the end they do these things called their wondering questions. They wonder about all different kinds of things. So many times, as the children are going through that wondering time, they'll say things that make the adults go, huh, never thought of that. I never looked at it that way. I never heard it that way. Things that we would maybe dismiss or just not even think of. But with their open hearts and minds, they see the world differently from us. They typically don't see race or color, and by nature are quick to forgive and forget. They want to be friends with everyone. It doesn't matter where they live or what kind of car their parents drive. Kids want to connect and play. Those young minds and hearts are free of hurt and pain that happen with life. They see things for face value, and they don't have suspicious minds. Their hearts are pure. Their thoughts are pure. It just makes me wonder what in the world would be like if we adults would view the world through childlike eyes. If we would smile at everyone we would see and maybe give them a little wave. Sometimes even just making eye contact and with a little nod or smile makes someone who might be feeling alone or unseen feel acknowledged. A couple of years ago, we were invited to dinner at Our Lady of Grace. The guest speaker that night was from a local Muslim community. The one thing she said that night that made my biggest takeaway was that often when out in public, when people would see her, instead of making eye contact, they would quickly look away from her or look at the floor. But that kids would often smile. They would look her in the face and acknowledge her. How simple and easy is that? As many of you know, my sister has had a long struggle with alcohol and drugs. Just a few weeks ago, while trying to detox, she attempted to take her life. Those next few days were a blur to me. but being with her as she went through the detox process was hard. Riverview is not equipped for that type of process, but they did everything that they could to make it easier. At one point when the detox was really ravaging her, she got upset and violent. The nurses were trying to adjust her meds as quickly as possible, but in the meantime, they had to have security in her room. For her safety and theirs, I look back on those rough hours and think how easy it would have been for those guys to judge, not just her, but also me. It's so easy to see the addict and blame them for their illness, but also their families. How could they sit back and let it get that bad? How and why did they turn their backs? But never once during those rough hours or days did I feel that Emily was being judged or our family. They showed an amazing level of compassion. Towards the end of the week, as I was walking out to my car to grab a book, I saw both of the officers having lunch. I walked over to them to let them know how much I appreciated their care and compassion that they showed not only my sister, but they showed me, and how much that made my days more bearable. Simple kindness and human compassion took what could have been the worst week of my life and showed me that good can come out of anything. Pure, simple kindness and compassion. Things that a pure heart of a child will typically show you. One of the easiest ways to show kindness and compassion is through serving others. Here at Faith, we have multiple ways that we do that throughout the community, but there is one that is near and dear to me. If you've been around here for more than a few weeks, you can probably guess it's the Boys and Girls Club. 10 years ago, I would have told you that I had no clue what my spiritual gifts were and where I was supposed to lead. When I came to the board, I was the deacon of fellowship. I'm going to use air quotes because that's the words that Al gave me, which I always joked was a fancy way to say that I was queen of the kitchen and meals. But as a deacon, I became wanting to grow more and to get more knowledge. So the opportunity came for Patrick and I to take a class on poverty. The class was very eye-opening and really believed that it started me on my journey to find who I really am and where I really should be to serve. A few months after Patrick and I finished the class, he decided to host a dreaming meeting at his house to talk about mission opportunities in our community. And I remember Amanda saying that she just wanted to feed children. That's simple, just wanted to feed kids. So we talked about different ways that we could do that, and then all of a sudden it hit me. Sitting 2 blocks north of where we sat in Patrick's dining room table was at the time the Boys and Girls Club. And I knew lots of them dealt with food insecurity at different times. I knew that they also had a program that they were doing with snack packs. So I reached out, and that would have been fall of 2011. And we started collecting at that time. We had our cart, and we collected snacks. And following that, there was always a group of ladies once a month who would go over and they would fill these snack bags. In the early spring of 2012, the club was undergoing a kitchen remodel. It ended up taking a little bit longer than expected. So they reached out to us and asked if we had any interest in bringing dinner one night and serving it. Pretty quickly, Patrick and I thought, yeah, we can do that. We had no clue what we were doing. The board, though, however, approved a budget for us. And then we learned we were going to serve in a parking lot. Okay, we can still do this. This is still doable, guys. This wasn't throwing me off yet. So we decided to serve biscuits and gravy. Patrick made our huge roaster pans full of gravy, and I remember Michelle and Hillary said, we'll bake all the biscuits. We'll do all the biscuits for you. So here they show up, and they have gallon-sized black trash bags full of biscuits. Seemed normal to us. So as we served the kids that day, we served the staff. We're standing in this parking lot at the Boys and Girls Club. And I remember looking at it, we had some volunteers, and I remember thinking, we got this, guys. This felt pretty good. I think we can do this. So that's where it started. We made it look easy. It really isn't easy. We've learned a lot from that first meal. A lot of things have changed. We no longer have to serve in a parking lot. Good news. They have moved buildings. We now have a beautiful new kitchen, which we are blessed with. I think I will tell you, I know my volunteers feel a little spoiled in the new kitchen right now. And there's still a need at the Boys and Girls Club, and Faith is still filling it. We've seen an increase in the amount of plates that we fill. We've probably close to doubled from what our first meal was, I would say. From 2012 to now, I would think we doubled on average what we serve a month. But the look and the excitement from both the staff and the kids when we show up each month is still the same. On April 18th, we will once again provide the meal for their annual recognition dinner. So I kind of do this thing, where I phone a friend when it's time to do my sermon. So I'm pretty lucky today. We have the unit director from the Boys and Girls Club of Noblesville, Abby Stutzman, who is pretty near and dear to me. She is not only one of the best friends that I could ask for, but a pretty good partner in crime. However, she is also one of United Way's last year's 100 heroes. And this community is super blessed to have her as a part of the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm going to ask her to come up and join me for a minute. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions, but then we're going to open it up at the end, and you guys can feel free to ask questions about whether it be about the church's involvement at the club or the club's involvement in the communities. So I'm going to give her this mic that we're not using, but it's going to be on. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about the local club, the services you offer, and the number of kids that normally take part in your programming?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. And let me just say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support over the years. I know that, like Megan said, it is not easy. We watch what you guys do with the meals and the snack packs and the recognition dinner, and we are so very grateful to have a partner like you for our club and our families and our members. So thank you, first and foremost. Our club, well, we are not a daycare. We are actually a membership club. We are there to provide safe, positive activities for youth who are in school. So we serve kindergarten up through 18 years of age. And we're primarily after school. Our membership fee is $55 for the course of a school year. That's pretty much unheard of. And not only that, we won't turn a child away. So if a family comes to us and they are experiencing financial hardship, we'll meet them where they're at. So if they can afford $5 for the course of a school year, then that's what we'll ask, $5. That allows them to use our facility, which includes transportation from Noblesville schools. That allows them to use our facility Monday through Friday, right after school until 8 p.m. And then on Fridays, we close at 6 o'clock. You're not going to find any other place like that in Hamilton County. We also serve meals Mondays and Thursday nights. Once a month, you guys provide the best meal. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. The kids love your meal, and your signature meal is biscuits and gravy. Actually, you guys just served it. We had some kids come in. When's the biscuits and gravy? Were they already here? Did we miss the biscuits and gravy? Kurt missed the biscuits and gravy.
I know, yeah.
So that is your signature meal. So they get the meals, and then also on Fridays, they get snack packs that are sent home with them on the weekends. Some of the activities that we include, we have a gym, we have a games room, arts and crafts room, computer lab, but aside from that, we also provide group clubs. So we're definitely about fostering youth development, and whether that be character and leadership development, healthy life skills, or academic success. That's a huge priority for our staff, is to make sure every child is on the path of finishing high school. So that is one of our huge priorities. We also partner a lot with the community. We are in Noblesville, but we serve Hamilton County. That's kind of a misconception about the club. Oh, well, you're just in Noblesville. Our boundary is past Noblesville, though, especially during breaks. Transportation is an issue during the school season, but on breaks, we serve Sheridan, Hamilton Heights, Fishers, and Carmel. We get a lot of students from there during breaks, so we'll assist with, we work with the youth assistance programs, getting those students to our club to provide some activities for them during breaks.
And on average, how many kids are you guys seeing a day?
Well, our brand new building, which is what we anticipated, also opened our doors to more children. So currently, our average daily attendance, we're about 335 currently. So 335 members on average. So out of the 5 days, 4 out of the 5 days, we're hitting well over 325 kids. each day. Come next year, the next school year with the time change, we anticipate having 400 plus children in our building. Our membership base is 2,000 members, and that includes all of our sports programs, but our after school program, again, that's probably about 800 members of that 2,000 membership base. Probably confusing some of you guys, but we have multiple different programs. We offer quite a lot with our membership, but I've seen a lot of you have been in our building. We're a very busy, chaotic place, and even though we're averaging 335 members in there each day, they're different kids each day. So throughout the course of a week, unduplicated members, we're probably seeing 600 different kids in a week. That kind of paints a picture. You're serving a lot of different youth in the community.
It's amazing. If you've not seen the new building, I recommend coming and volunteering to see the new building. My favorite part of the new building is they now have a music room, which I think is really, really cool. And that gets utilized a couple of days a week, correct?
Yeah, 2 days a week.
2 days, yeah. So these kids not only have the opportunity to get help with homework, they also have a chance to learn an instrument, which is just crazy. When I was a club kid growing up, I know Abby was a club kid growing up, we didn't have that. We had board games and we had homework help, but just the things that this new club is opening up. The art room is amazing. They did an art show. Was the art show already done?
Yes.
They do it once a year. They do an art show, which is amazing. So, and then we talked a little bit ago about the annual recognition dinner. That's coming up. That is my favorite night of the year. The kids get recognized, and I'm going to have Abby talk about the recognitions they get. But my favorite part is to sit there in the back. So everybody's had dinner. We're wiped out. We hang out in the back of the room. But my favorite part is to listen to all of the kids cheer for each other and to get excited. So during the recognition dinner, what are the awards that you guys typically hand out? What are your big awards? What are you guys recognizing?
So recognition dinner is huge for the Boys and Girls Club. A lot of our members aren't your youth that are in school. They're not in school sports. They're not a part of the chess club. They're not in choir. They're not involved in extracurricular activities at school, the majority of our kids. So they are involved in activities at our club on a daily basis. This is the one night of the year we get to recognize them for what they have participated in and what they've achieved. So it's huge for us. Some of the big things, the big awards that we give out, Youth of the Year, which is a great honor for us. That is typically a teenager that we've chosen that has been with us since they were younger, and they have participated in our group clubs. They're basically the role model member. They've exhibited all of the qualities that exemplify our mission. They are a leader. They stand out in their community. They're upholding their academic success. And so that's one of the awards that we give out. We also give out, just for the top 10 Power Hour, which means nothing to you guys, but Power Hour is our homework help program. It's an incentive-based program. Those top 10 kids have worked on their homework on a daily basis, which is huge. They get recognized. Also robotics and coding, we give out awards for that as well. And then also Volunteer of the Year. I think you guys have gotten a couple times. Oh, twice. Twice we give out our Volunteer of the Year award there as well. So it's amongst many more awards that we give out, but that's the only night that we can really take the time set aside throughout the course of the year and really recognize our partnerships as well as our members.
And last year so we've done recognition dinner. So the first time we sat for an awards dinner was in 2012. And I remember sitting there, and I was sitting with Patrick and Amanda, I think maybe Laura Hutton at the time. And they ran out of, this is sad, I'm going to tell you guys the story. They ran out of food, and I remember sitting there. The staff didn't get to eat. In my heart, I'm like, oh, these teenagers. So I look at Patrick, I'm like, we can do this, right? He said, we can do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, sweet. So the next year we took over recognition dinner. However, this past year, so we've done it for a few years. We've got a few years underneath our belt. Last year blew us away. That gym was packed. it was amazing to see, because also during recognition dinner, the youth have gone out and they're what, sheriff, judge,
Youth and
fire
government,
chief.
yes.
Yeah, we do youth. They do youth and government. So you've got people from the kids, and then the kids come in. They do their talk about their day as youth and government, which is amazing to hear. These kids. So we had there was just a lot of people that last year. I would say we're 250 people
Or more, yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
We did it. It was a little weird.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, though, to see that many people to come out to celebrate these youth and to see them getting recognized, not only by their peers, but by other people in the community. So we'll be doing that again, April 18th. Yes, you guys will have your chance. Just a couple of weeks. Came a little quicker than we thought. But you guys will get your chance to come and volunteer and help me out with that again. But you'll get your chance to come and hear those kids and see those kids get recognized. The other thing I love they do is they also recognize their staff. They've got a lot of the staff in that building has been there for over 10 years. Some of them, there are some diehards, Kurt and Abby, which I think will die in that building. We'll probably just put them in a tomb out front of it. But I know they have both been there. Abby, how many years have you been there? How many years have you been a staff?
19 years.
Full-time?
Staff. It was full-time. I've been there 19
years. How many years part-time before that?
Too long. Let's just skip that.
And Kurt's been there?
23 years.
23 years.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a job I tell people all the time. Their mission, they're doing missionary work. They don't necessarily know that that's what they're doing, but they don't have this job is not a high-paying job. They're not living in mansions, believe it or not. They're not, they should be for what they do every day, but they don't. These are jobs they do for love. They do it for the love of the kids. They do it for the love of the community. And I know that the kids give back to them. I know they get filled that way. But it's amazing to think that we have people who have worked in that same job. I mean, they have been there. They've seen the changes in our community. They've watched as new schools open up. Now they're going to go through the shift of the school hour changes and what that means. It's an amazing resource that we have. And I am lucky that you guys support me in this crazy harebrained dream of I can feed these kids, right, guys? Michelle Johnson will always tell me I can do anything. Michelle Johnson will always give me numbers of how much food I need. So if Michelle Johnson can give me a number, we can cook it. So pretty lucky. So I'm going to open the floor up to you guys. A lot of you guys I know have been in the building, but if you have questions again about the Boys and Girls Club, what they offer, what we're doing behind the scenes, feel free to ask those now. And if you don't, that's okay. If you don't, it's totally fine. I think we've covered a lot. All right. So I want to thank Abby for joining me this morning. I always love when Patrick always says that I outsource my message. It's kind of true. I think I work smarter, not harder, but that's just me. So we'll have everybody stand up, and we're going to move into our time of connecting.